mentor sharing session happening this Friday. And then next week, we will just be mainly focusing on you working on your pitch deck for the demo day. So the only updates that I've gotten for demo day so far is that we are going to be choosing only top 5 startups to be pitching during the demo day. So for final evaluation, do try to improve yourself, your pitch, your best that you can, for you to be selected as the top 5 startups to be pitching during the demo day. So demo day will be hybrid. So if you're able to attend and join us physically, that would be great. But if you are unable to, you can just join us online as well. But the sessions will be a physical, so it's a hybrid event basically. Okay. As for you, the support for your travel expenses, unfortunately, Talent Corp will not be able to cover or support any. So your travel costs will be solely covered by you. Okay. All right. So that's the only update that I've gotten so far for demo day. But back to today's session. So our last masterclass is on building connections, local business connections. And today we are very excited to have Mr. Peter Ho joining us. We had Peter during our second masterclass, I believe. So Peter, for you guys who may not know, so Peter is the VP Sales at Telecom Malaysia, and he has years of experience working with MNCs, with startups, with fintechs, enterprises, and he has helped leaders refine their strategies, build high performance team, and develop an agile frameworks that support long-term success. So very excited to hear what you have to share with us today, Peter. And I think if you're ready and if the startups are ready, you can go ahead and start today's session.
Sure, Amira, thank you for the introduction. I think some of us we have met in the first masterclass, and I think we spent about 2 hours during that session. So this is the second one that I'm doing for the MyHeart program, and the focus today is about local business connection. So whether it's local or whether it's international, it is still connection, and how those connections come by, and what advantages can you take over on this connection, and why the connection is important. It's absolutely important. So how I wanted to do today's session slightly different is probably is, of course, I will have the some facts and info for you guys. And second one is a bit of storytelling, some real life thing that happened about connection and how it happened and how do you pursue to, and what are some of the things that happen after that. And the third one is a bit of like a panel discussion thing. So I have questions I want to open up to the startups for you to answer, because some of these things that it might be lingering in your own mind of those questions and so on. Okay, so let me proceed and go ahead with some slides and things like that. Everybody can see the slides?
Yes, Ken.
Yeah. Okay. So this is the introduction. So Amira have did a fantastic work for me. She already introduced me. I work with just a repeat for some of you guys who've been hearing this. So I worked with quite a number of multinationals in Malaysia for the last 30 years. Brands like Maxis, Motorola, Cellcom, and the last one is actually Unify. So these are very consumer centric. I've done enterprise type of account management as well in those areas with people like Maxis and so on. So I have 30 years of experience around the telco side of the business. The last 4 to 5 years, I spent a lot of time in the fintech side of the business as well. Okay, so on the fintech side of the business, there's a lot of learning there about lending, especially B2B lending. Lending means how do you get money and cash flow into SME startups and all this. So cash flow is actually is the heartbeat of any business that you need. So when you need to scale, funding is absolutely important. I also do a lot of go-to-market. In many of my roles, I focus and has been doing sales and distribution, product marketing, and also product development. Three major areas. Okay. And of course, I over the years I have also acquired the certification from HRD Corp. So I'm a professional trainer, and I'm also doing quite a bit of coaching for corporates, and of course mentorship for quite a number of startups and programs in Malaysia. The other thing that is I'm strong at is market access. I think some of you who joined my first session in the first masterclass, immediately I think we identified one or two areas of markets or companies or even associations that you guys can really look at. And I personally know them, some of these guys. Okay, any question? If not, then I'll just move into some of the topics that we want to discuss today. No? Okay, so I'll move on. Thanks for the thumbs up. Okay, so I've put in a couple of things here to look at. As I say, first, we want to look at a bit of facts, info, a bit of storytelling after this. And I also put together kind of like question and answer or kind of like a panel discussion that we can take through. You might have more questions. Please don't stop just at the business connection only. Ask me other things as well if it's required. So as anybody who wants to venture in the Malaysian market, whether you're a local company or you're an international company, it's crucial to establish a strong foundation to build the local connection and strategic partnership. So what does it mean, strong foundation? Strong foundation means of course, your business fundamental itself will tell a story. And I strongly believe in storytelling. And the storytelling is something that what most companies believe that how you should be bringing your company to or your organization to and so on. So a strong foundation is always a required fundamental. The other one is a bit about strategic partnership. So I think the last discussion we had with some of you were talking about, should I come into Malaysia myself? Should I partner someone? Or should I set an office? Should I be having distributors in the country, whether it's Malaysia or even Southeast Asia? So how do we do that going into the market? The other thing is to talk a bit about Malaysia offers a diverse and a dynamic business environment. That's very true because I think why the dynamic business environment is because it's a multicultural population. So I always tell the people, and we talk a bit about this, and we spend a bit of time here about the multicultural is because if you look at it from the country perspective, whether you're from the northern side, which is the Kedah, Perlis, Penang, and then you have the central, and then you have the southern, and then you have the east coast. Just alone on the peninsular Malaysia, the cultural are already different. Don't even talk about Sabah and Sarawak. It's a very close loop kind of environment there. Capability of doing the business is all about how do you mix yourself and how do you get involved in the local people and the local culture in those areas. Well-developed infrastructure, definitely. Malaysia has a very strong infrastructure, whether it's from the road, digital, or even any type of infrastructure today. Even if you look at the startup infrastructure, how Talent Corp and Cradle build all these programs together. These are very solid, and I think it's something that is been ongoing, part of the government initiatives. And there are more. If you look at the budget 2025, you hear much more things that they want to build. There's an whoever who's in AI, guys. There's an AI council coming up. Not much info yet. I don't even have much information yet. How is this AI council gonna come by? What's the shape? What's the type of benefit that companies like you, me, as an individual, or even the business entity, how do we take advantage of AI in Malaysia environment? I think that is due to be set in 2025. The official organization of the AI, if I remember reading it, it's supposed to be start up in December, which is next month. So not much clue yet who's gonna head the AI part of the organization of Malaysia. I can only suspect that this AI division could be, if it's a division, will be reporting under the digital ministry, which is the Gobind Singh. So that's something to watch out for. Okay, so that's about the regulator framework. So again, the regulator are here to help the economy, to help the startup, and of course they do a lot in looking forward to things and economy for the country. The other one is I think the last thing is about local business and strategic type of partnership. I think everybody knows partnership is something very important in our market. The correct partnership will probably bring you to a next level in any organization or in any type of scaling of your business. Okay, I'll pause for a while. Guys, anyone question about AI unit, AI division, the Malaysia government what role they're gonna take in 2025 and things like that? I'll take some question if there is. No one? No question?
Hey Peter, one question here. Can you hear me?
Yeah, Brandon, yes.
Yeah, yeah. So just asking the AI Council, do you know what the mandate or the directive of this AI Council is?
No clue yet at this moment. We can only guess, but we would like to see the actual mandate, definitely. Each of the
Okay.
division will have a very clear mandate. When they say they want to have this council, of course, definitely there will be a mandate. I can share later on, but we don't have enough information yet at this moment.
Okay.
It's something
Appreciate
that
it. Thank you.
the prime minister personally wants to pursue, and also a type of the FDI that he wants to bring in. So the commitment between Google, Microsoft, and a couple of more people, I'm not sure everybody knows or you guys know that there is a huge boom in Johor at this moment, particularly the southern side, which is near to the Johor Bahru side. Quite a few major data centers coming up there. That's number one. Number two, between Malaysian government and Singapore, it's already a project called RTS. It's about 60 to 70% ready. Google that on anywhere called RTS. They are building the connecting train between Johor Bahru to I can't remember which station in Singapore MRT. So Malaysian and Singaporean will have direct access between the two countries through the kind of like a local rail network. Okay, and it's gonna run, and the whole intention is to move about 100,000 people each couple of hours between Malaysia and Singapore. Particularly, I think everybody knows that a lot of Malaysians are working in Singapore at this moment. Huge thing. I can share a bit of a story later. What happened? How did I know about all this and so on. It's about connection again. So, Brandon, to answer your question that there's no mandate yet, I will share the mandate to you later.
Yeah, appreciate it. Thank you.
Yeah. Okay. So no questions. I'll move to the next thing. Oops. Okay. So I was talking a bit about storytelling. So here I pause for a moment to do a bit of storytelling. Okay, I'll switch off my camera to save on my bandwidth on my internet here. So on the left hand side, it's something that I did for Korean tourism. This was organized by Beyond 4. So Amira was there. So you can see that quite a bit of foreign organization, not only companies, organizations, government-linked organizations like Korean Tourism Organization is here, and they are looking for opportunities. So the opportunities has always been there on the ground for the people, for the organization. How do you connect with them? And obviously, what they wanted to do was to learn. It's just like Brandon's question earlier. So what's the mandate of the AI Council? Now, this could be very, very interesting because if there's something that they pursue or the government is pursue on AI and specific areas that they are pursuing, and if there's a grant, there are extra incentives for organization. I mean, by all means, the foreign or even the local organization will really look forward to all these things. And how do we build our business or your business into those areas? Okay. Now the Koreans, a bit of background about the Koreans, what they did. I think there are quite a number of startups. They're pretty advanced. They are looking again venturing into other countries. So some of them are pretty successful. They are not at the stage one or whatever, but they are pretty successful already today, backing by the local Korean government and so on and so forth in those areas. So I had the opportunity to address them for about an hour, if not mistaken. Actually, it's the same topic. It's also about market access or business connections. Okay, so same thing. Everybody is trying to see how, when you get into business, how do you get connection. Now, I also wanted to add on is that about connection, business connection. To me, business connection and social media, they have to work hand in hand. Now, why I say that is, and why I want to do this storytelling is, I have did a lot of talks, a lot of seminars and stuff like that around Malaysia or even at the region level. I find that each time when I do something and I post it, the things I do and things like that, I actually get more and more and more invites all the time. And it leads to the second picture on the right hand side, which last week I had the opportunity to address a group of China MVNO. Not sure everybody knows what's MVNO. MVNO stands for Mobile Virtual Network Operator. That means they theoretically they do not have a mobile infrastructure network, but they are riding on someone's network to provide that service. So if you like it, if I can term that, they are like a marketing company. They don't produce the network coverage, but they actually uses someone's network coverage to do that. So again, came down, they wanted to look at, they actually is not only looking at Malaysia, they're looking at Southeast Asia, particularly three countries, Thailand, Malaysia, and Singapore. And again, because of that kind of social media that I have, the type of connections that I have with the local people that connects me back to this group of people in China, plus the association that they built between Malaysia and China. I was given the opportunity to speak to them about the current environment, current sector, what's happening to it, how can they take advantage to it, and what kind of businesses they can be connected. I saw quite a bit of opportunity there with these guys, particularly the tourism side, how they come into the market and how the Malaysian goes to China market. Take note on the last couple of months, the aggressiveness of the Malaysian government pursuing with several countries in the world that resulted in huge investment FDI of Google, Microsoft, including even China recently. So for the first time since beginning of the year, between the two countries, Malaysia and China, we travel on a visa free now. So I used to pay a lot of money for just getting visas, getting into China. Now it's visa free. So just book a ticket and off I go to any of the state and the cities in China. Vice versa, it's the same thing for the Chinese tourists. So it is a advantage that both countries seeing this. So that's the two story that I could probably tell you all about business connection and how as an individual for me or an organization gets connection and participation. How I did that, I combo between two, as I say, people that I know. Second one is, of course, social medias. Okay, I'll pause for a moment if anybody got a question. No? Okay. So, bit of background about Malaysia. It's one of the countries in Southeast Asia, and I think it's the one of the serving gateway to ASEAN. Of course, we can also argue that Singapore could be the gateway and things, but the two countries and the gateways are slightly different. Okay, I won't go into that debate at this moment, how and so ever. I'll focus on Malaysia. The population size is about 34 million at this moment, with a 28 million in Peninsula and 6 million in East Malaysia. I pause for 1 second. I need to ask the participant one question. Out of the 34 million, do you know how many of these are the migrant market? Anybody can make a guess, or anybody knows? No one got a clue. What is the migrant market? Maybe let me determine migrant market. The foreign workers that come into Malaysia, particularly Indonesia, Pakistan, Bangladesh, and maybe a bit of India, I think.
We have two guesses in the chat.
Oh yeah,
So,
sorry,
yeah.
tak nampak.
No problem.
I can't see.
Okay, Amrinder said 10%. Jason, 10 million. Lex, 15%.
Wow. Okay. Assume you guys are not based in Malaysia, okay. But and also because even if you're Malaysian, you might not be able to guess it, and so on and so forth lah. So I give you a bit of guiding line here. On official paper, it's about 2.5 million, 2 to 2.5 million.
Adria actually got it right. It's 2 million. She guessed 2 million.
Cantik. So 2 million, it's the official. However, there is another unofficial. Because I work in the telco business, migrant market is one of our most important market because of prepaid service. And it's easy to sell to them. And they don't care about brand and so on and so forth, unless they have been here for quite a while. On statistics, we believe as a telco boy that 2 million is the registered, another 2 million is unregistered. So you can call them illegal lah. Okay, so there's about 4 million out of the 34 million pop. So it's about what? It's like 12%, somewhere there. I think someone could have got it quite close just now on a percentage. So that's the encompass. So if you are selling on B2C, you can imagine how you're gonna target your market in these areas, and who do you need to work with, especially when you talk about connection is the partnership. Who are the partnerships that you need to work with to get to those markets? Like migrant is one big market. My second big market is student. Okay, and then the third big market is actually government servant. Okay, so you can imagine how big are these cluster of segment that you look at. And of course, the other thing is about culture, language, religion. If you are a Malaysian, you stay here before, you would know. And if you travel to East Malaysia, Cebu, Miri, Kenengau, and all this. Okay, as a telco boy, I've traveled quite a number. East Coast, Kelantan, Terengganu, and then you got your Kuantan and so on. And of course, your west belt of Peninsula. We have the Penang Central and Johor. So you can imagine how diverse is the type of thinking, the type of culture, the type of language, the kind of spending power. That's also important. Who do you target? How? And so on. Okay, so that's overview of how Malaysia is at this moment on the culture, people, languages, and so on. Any question about the market sizing? I mean, help me if anybody has question. I can't see some on the screen.
All right. No question on the chat, but if you guys have questions, just unmute yourself and ask away.
Yeah. Okay. Yes, please. I can't see because you type it. Yeah, not able. My screen. I don't have a dual screen here. Okay. So I'll move on to the next thing. Yeah. Okay. So some of the strategy. So I put in, of course, the facts and info, a bit of about strategy. So mastering your local connection. Let's start off with cultural acumen and relationship building. So these are superly important areas. Okay, definitely. How do you build your fundamental, your acumen, and so on? Being in Southeast Asia, I've worked with two types of organizations. Of course, the MNCs that based in the US, like Motorola, the type of culture that they have. Those type of culture are very straightforward. You just talk straight. That's how the American is. And you don't really have to tell a lot of small talks, small stories before you get into a real conversation. But if you look at the culture of Southeast Asia, being a Chinese myself, is first thing that you sit down, you will probably have a drink, and that's how a relationship starts from there. The relationship or the business doesn't start from the business. That's how the cultural sense of running. So many of times that you have a very casual and informal chat, coffee, alcohol drinks, and stuff like that before you actually even start talking about business. And that's a culture. That's a real culture. So on the Western side, probably slightly different and things like that. So have to be a bit sensitive to those things. That's how you understand the local culture and things like that. Particularly like East Malaysia, not sure some of you have been or have engaged. It's always been about having a good relationship first before you even talk about business. And many a times that you sit down with certain business group of people, you don't talk business first. Okay, you talk about so many other things, very informal, couple of drinks and things like that. And eventually one lead to another that leads to a process of starting to talk about a bit of a business. Okay. So anyone got a sense of that? That's how it works probably in Malaysia.
Hey, Peter, Brenda here.
Yep.
I have a question, very basic question actually. One of the things that I always get confused, right? Say my name, right? Amrinder Singh, right? Here, when they put Mr. to it, they will say Mr. Singh. They won't say Mr. Amrinder. But I realize in Malaysia, for example, it's always Mr. Amrinder.
Yes.
I get confused. And if I do say to someone Mr. Singh as opposed to Mr. Amrinder, is it offensive? I know it's a very basic question, but I think it's important.
It is. I don't think it's offensive. I can also give you an example of myself. I mean, very clear. Yeah. It's because certain world part of the world practice differently. They practice your first name, middle name, last name.
Correct.
And you also notice one thing. In the Western world, when you get married, the wife will change the surname.
Correct.
It will never happen here, Aminda.
No, it doesn't happen in my culture as well. The ladies
Correct.
never take a sing name. They
Correct.
always go,
Correct.
oh,
So there's no right or there's no wrong, okay, for
right.
all
So
these.
it's
It's
just
because
right.
different environment practice differently. So I give you
Yeah.
another example. I don't have a middle name and I
Mm-hmm.
don't have a Chinese name. So my
Right.
dad gave me Peter Ho, H-O. That's it.
Okay.
So
Yeah.
you can imagine if I go to the Western world, everybody will be calling me Ho Peter.
Correct. Yeah.
I come
Yeah.
back to my country or this side part of the world, everybody call me Peter.
Yeah. Yeah.
So that's the same thing that's happening. I don't think there's a wrong answer. Okay. And there's always in our culture, we always hear on this side, we always ask like, Aminda, would you like me to address you as Aminda or Mr. Singh? We will always ask that question. Same thing. Like China people, especially China people, I get so confused. So I always ask them, so how do you want me to address you?
Mm.
Yeah. So Chinese also, if you look at it, the mainland Chinese, they
Yeah.
some got three name, first name, middle name, last name. Some of them only two,
Mm-hmm.
especially the two names. Okay, two
Mm.
syllables, two syllable. I got confused. So which one should I call you? I always ask them, how do I
Yeah.
address you? Yeah.
Yeah. No, this is because I'm writing these emails and I'm very conscious of not offending you. Anyway, thanks for that. That's very useful. Second one, if you don't mind, like you mentioned MDEC, MIDA, FMM, and all that, right?
Mm-hmm.
They don't get back to you.
Oh my God.
So how do, like, again, in Australia, I would wait for a day and I'll send another email. Or
Yeah.
in fact, I might even clearly say, look, can you please get back to me because I've been waiting for 2 days. But obviously, I can't. I shouldn't and would not do that in
Yeah. Yeah.
most other cultures. So how do you get a response?
I think it has to. It's again. That's the reason why I did this session. I call it facts and info, then storytelling, and then a bit of panel discussion because you will face all these.
Yeah.
As we have two different way of working here because you are not in Malaysia, you will face a type of way of engaging, but you
Yeah.
come back. You haven't seen how sometimes that I speak to or talk to Indonesian team or Thai team. Yeah, I get the same thing, no answer, and so
Yeah.
on and so forth. The sometime being a Southeast Asia culture, okay,
Yeah.
it's a bit quiet. That's number one.
Mhm.
And the reason why, one of the reason that for after many years that I've been working, I notice is that because they don't know the answer. That's the reason why they didn't reply.
Yeah.
That's one of the biggest thing that I have encountered. They didn't reply is because that they don't want to reply, is
Mhm.
they don't have the answer for you. That is one
Yeah.
of the reason. Yeah, one of the reason. Now then you will probably ask me, so how do we get around it and things like that? So usually what I do is Mr. A if doesn't respond or he doesn't know, I try to go to Mr. B or go to someone or go to a friend, go to an associate, go to someone who knows MDEC, go to another association, and so on. So the routing in any way of trying to get access and information, I will probably utilize that and try to get that through other means and ways and so on and so forth. You wouldn't know that again is someone would know someone who really directly knows the answer to it. I give you another example is that
Mm.
I changed my iPhone I think about 2 years ago, and I had huge issue with my Hong Kong Bank HSBC app because they have this thing that they lock to a phone, and then if you change phone, you're supposed to delete from your old phone and switch it on onto the new phone. I called all the call center several times for 2 weeks, emailed them. I had the same issue. Then one day I walk into a branch, one of the branch, and actually the gentleman was not even attending to me. He was just at the side, but I was telling the girl that my problem and things like that. Same old story, asked me to go back to call center and things like that. But suddenly this guy pops up and tell me he think he know what's my problem. So he advised me 2 or 3 steps, which I did, and immediately it worked. So why some of these guys can't answer or don't want to answer sometimes, it's because they don't know. And they do not know how to frame that sentence back to you or that email to say, I don't know. Because it's going to look stupid. If I send to Mr. Amrinder, sorry, I don't know the answer to this. But on contrary, if you're in the Western world, I'm very sure you will accept that. You will write to them. Exactly.
Don't understand what you're talking about.
Exactly. So the culture thing sometimes is very difficult to explain. But once you have an example, easy for me to explain that, hey, it's because I don't know. And don't know, I'm not sure. Maybe as a Malaysian myself, I was never trained at school to write I don't know. Or explain that I do not know the answer. I will probably keep quiet. That's one of the things that's I've been observing for many years.
Okay, that's good information, right? So maybe if I don't get an answer, I maybe ask it in a different way and see if I can get an answer.
Correct. Exactly. Ask in a different way. Ask a different question. Ask a leading question. Okay. Not sure whether they have the answer. So I don't think, and I think sometimes, especially when you deal with government agencies and things like that, you might not get a direct answer because they might not even know themselves at a certain point of time. That's typical, or that I always hear that everybody talks about. I think the same comment that we always have also when you want to start a business as a Malaysian going to Indonesia, starting a business and things like that. They say, I spoke to 5 guys. 5 guys give me 5 different answers on the same topic. Then we start to discuss each other and say, hey, so which route should we take? And things like that. So then we sometimes engage local friends and local partners as a guiding principle. So I hope I can give you some light.
No, that's excellent. Thank you.
I'm very sure is that they probably don't have an answer.
Okay. Well, thanks for that.
In Southeast Asia, one of the culture about Southeast Asia, they tend not to be rude. I don't see that. Whether you're Thai, you're Singapore, you're Indonesian, Malaysian, Philippines, I don't think rude. They're rude. They probably don't have answer.
Correct. Yeah, more than likely. You're right. And it's no, I appreciate that.
So Peter, go ahead. So Peter, this is a very good point. Right? I guess if I was to flip the tables around, right? Suppose I'm the one that doesn't know the answer, right?
Yep.
So, what would be and you mentioned this before, is that business in Malaysia, Southeast Asia, is all about building the trust first, right?
Yep.
Building that relationship.
Yep.
How do I answer the I don't know question without, like eroding the trust in my answer?
It's probably a bit of a strategic answer, and there's a bit of I call it maneuvering. Okay. The way that if it's a entity by the way, it depends on who you talk to. The higher of the hierarchy of the organization of the people like MDEC you speak to, I bet you they are very intelligent. So I know a few of them as well. People like Gopi and all those. He's the SVP of MDEC. The way they handle it will be, of course, very different. Okay. Brandon, to answer your question is, what we use this word here very popularly called politically right answer. You probably heard of that. Okay, in Southeast Asia, it's called politically right answer. So it's neither giving you a yes or neither giving you a no. End of the day. So end of the day, they probably tells you that we will probably go to our management team or we go to our committee and things like that. We will probably get back to you and probably give you an answer after the committee meets. Now, however, Brandon, I can tell you that I have heard from friends from foreign countries and things like that, or even local, is that they probably take a year to come back to you, or even longer. One of the key reasons is because the policies might not be there. So when the policies are not there, the decision making is not there. Okay, and sometimes the level that you are, the engagement that you're doing, they do not have the authority to give you that engagement answer. It's dependent on council. So if it is a bit more government link related and things like that, the answer is always sitting with the council. Okay, then the next thing to do is, are you able to engage with some of the council people to accelerate that? So if I were the business person, I will probably go to the next level of building the relationship. Hope I answered that question.
That's a good point, right? So that means that what you're saying is that they may be asked, they may be given the mandate of the urgency to move, but they may not be set up to move urgently.
Okay. Let me explain to you. I'm not sure how long have you not been in Malaysia or whatever on the system and so on. I give
More
you
than
an
20
example.
years. So
Sorry?
I'm relearning everything.
Yeah.
More
So
than
I give
20
you
years.
I
I'm
give you an example.
relearning everything.
I give you one example. Very simple example. Every year in October and November, there will be a budget day. The budget day is on a Friday. They love Friday. I don't know why. And they will go to the parliament and they will tell you the entire story by 4 p.m. to 6 p.m. And then by 6:30 p.m., all the big four consultants will have a typical summary of the entire budget for next year and so on. As for many years, a lot of us have looked at it, and we, of course, we touch base with each other, with some government agencies and things like that. Some of the government agencies doesn't even know that the announcement was made in that way. Number one. Two, when they say budget X hundred, just say example, is the funding is 200 million and things like that. Actually, the agency has got no clue yet where this 200 million is coming from. So there is it's only a starting point of figuring out sometimes. So sometimes immediately you go to this guy and you ask him, so how do I get a grant? How do I apply for this 200 million? I can bet you the next 4 months you won't get an answer. So that's how some of these things work and how it has been working. And usually it will take them a few months before they can actually clearly tell you. Like your question about AI, I can tell you probably by February or March, I can't even give you some strong indicative answers of the mandate. They're probably still working on it. That's how the SOP currently.
Got it. Got it. Thanks.
Okay. So I continue here. So networking is the other big thing. So I got all the big names here. I mean, catch hold of me very fast. MDEC on MEDA and all these things. Yes, there is a lot of agencies. There's a lot of activity. Don't talk about you guys. It confused me and my friends and all the people in the market. There are so many agencies doing so many things with some form of money here and there. So we need to be able to understand a bit on ground what's happening, who do what, and why as well. So that's the networking part. So networking part here in Malaysia has, I'm not sure you guys know that we have a lot of associations. Okay, like tonight, after this, that's the reason why I moved half an hour earlier today. Is I need to attend an event with ESG Malaysia. So if you guys, any one of you guys who are into the ESG area sector of things, this group of people that I know, quite a number of them are friends after so many years. They hate the council and also the ESG Association of Malaysia. This kind of event at the dinner is all about the small talk, who you know, what you know, and this is how you get connected. And most of them are doing it voluntarily. That means they took up a position and they are not paid. They don't get any money. Most of them have either they are a corporate person or they have their own business. And how do they then leverage? So leveraging is by connecting to the guy in the council and so on. If you have a business and you needed to maybe work with Mr. A, who has a factory who does X number of manufacturing and things like that, and so on. So this is where the business connection is. And the association have, of course, there are so many associations, I can't join so many. So I choose some of these associations and join. Always join the one with the big guns, the whoever who are in there. Example, in some of the big guns here are in the ESG associations are the people from SAP, IBM, SAP ex recent MD who retired, Casey Hong, and all this. SME Association's president is also one of the council member here in ESG. The previous PICOM president is also here. So I will try to go network with the bigger boys to get things done, and of course the bigger boys themselves is well connected to MDEC and so on and so forth. So I mean, to answer your question, some of these guys could help if there's a way to connect and so on. Yeah, some of these guys could help to even pose the question to MDEC and how to move forward. And sometimes it's procedure. My India partner, to get the Malaysia digital status, he told me it took him more than 2 years to get there. So I think it could be paperwork, it could be multiple of things. It's happening. It took him 2 years.
It's interesting, but yeah, good point. Thank you. Using other channels.
Definitely, I'm one of those. If you look at if you go to my LinkedIn and things like that, you will see that I leverage a lot on those associations, associations that bring all these people around. And sometimes the trick is that I don't really have to ask the question. So if I bring in a partner from China, example, and they wanted Malaysia Digital, because there's major advantage. If you get the Malaysia Digital, you get 7 years tax exemption or something like that. I can't remember those things, but it's definitely advantage. I'll use them to bring them to meet MDEC rather than myself, because I mean, probably they will lion a foreign company better and things like that. So that's also something that I always keep intact, that these are the things that I'll always try to make use of. Okay. So let me continue. So hiring local talent and things like that. Any other countries where you are in, I think local talent is needed, definitely, because you need the hands and legs and so on to run your business and so on. So local connections, getting you to meeting people, and of course, I always say this, hiring the right talent is very, very important. I had a business meeting lunch yesterday, and it's about retail. It's about the retail business. Not sure you guys know who is JD. JD, I think, is from UK, the sports outlet in Malaysia. They are in Malaysia, and they compare to another like Sports Direct example and so on. So, but the people that I'm meeting wasn't from the sports side, but retailer. But they was commenting that how come, what type of training did JD do, and why the people are so good, and so on. I step in and say, you can do all the training that you want, and so on and so forth at your organization today, but don't forget one thing: your first hiring is very important. What is your persona of the hiring of the people that you're looking at? So I told them that training is something that you can be trained, and you can put through a program for everybody. However, the first cut when you hire, that's very, very important. This is where a lot of organizations didn't realize. You got to hire the right one, not just hire. And don't think about just hiring and then after that try to train them. I don't believe in that. I always believe in the hiring correct first, then train them. So that was a big discussion yesterday about this, and then they wanted me to help them to go hire. I said that's not my forte to hire. I can identify of talent, but I say I probably don't have the bandwidth to do that for you guys. I have to look for someone. Okay, so then let me move to the government agencies, industry association, influencer. So again, to answer some of Aminda and Brandon's comment and questions earlier, is government agencies and things. Pick the right one. who you know with. Sometimes the government agencies are already buddies of some association, which is the second one. So there are tons of these association and so on. And if you're into IoT, I think Brandon, you're in IoT, right? If I remember. So if you're in IoT, there is an IoT association. So James Lai is a buddy. I can introduce you, have a chat with him. He's more than willing to chat. He's the president of IoT Association Malaysia. You can have a chat with him if you wanted to know more about the IoT sector side and so on. How is it progressing and so on? Those guys can help. And they, being an association, one of the advantage is the government agencies always look up to them because they wanted feedback. So because the government agencies cannot go direct to a consumer, they will always go to the association to get feedback before they drive a new program. Vice versa, the association actually goes to the government agency as well to build this information and so on. Okay. Well, then the next one is
that person definitely appreciate the effort to make a connection. So yeah, no, I completely understand that. Thank you.
let me continue then. Then the navigating the regulator requirement compliances, IP. I think some of these are pretty standard. I always hear from people saying that the bureaucracy and the type of requirement and so on and so forth. And that's something that as a regulator and as a government agencies, I think those are the controlling part of things. You probably heard about the last 1 week fiasco of Khazanah and PNB investing in a company for 43 million, and finally they sold it off only for 3 mil. So the more you hear of this, I think the more tighter that they will become of all these agencies, how they dish out grant, how they dish out investment and so on. So that's the reason, one of the reason that some of these things are very tricky and so on. But again, it's just like any other government agencies or migration program. If example, if I need to migrate to Australia, I'm very sure that they will probably need tons of histories of things from me and so on. So navigating through it and so on, it's sometimes could be a nightmare and so on. The last one is about IP, intellectual property. IP is very important. If you have a product, you have something advantage over your competitor. Trademark and so on, pretty important. Okay, we've seen over and over time again that you can really lock your competitor out on these areas. Aminda, you got a question? I can see you raise your hand.
Yeah, Peter. Thanks. The IP and patent part of it, right? That's something I'm really struggling with right now.
Oh, really? Why?
Yeah. I am meeting some potential clients, and you'll know them in the telco industry anyway. HPoint and E.co.
Finally, you got to HPoint, okay.
Yeah, I did actually. Suresh, I managed.
Oh, you met Suresh. Suresh is a good friend, and we were ex-colleagues as well.
Yeah, right. Cool. That's good. Yeah, no, and so we are meeting. We have met and we're meeting again in a week or two. So I have to accelerate this whole IP and patent stuff, right? Now,
for yourself. This is to protect you.
Yeah, or the product which or the people that I'm working with, right?
Yep.
Now, I've even contacted some family members, and in the good old standard way, they haven't got back to me in 5 days, so I gave up on them. And I contacted 2 or 3 lawyers through the internet, no answer, including one, I guess, a presenter we had here as well. No answer again. So, do you know anyone? Sorry, it's a very personal question.
I know. Okay, if I remember correctly, I think I know someone who is in the IP side. Whether he is directly into it or is part of his organization or partnership that they're doing, because if you look at any business end to end if I were to do just this one slide I probably can break it out to about 6 to even 7 type of businesses that I can create and help organizations. Because to accelerate, you pay a bit of money to someone and he helps you to run and so on and so forth. Can you imagine how fast the business can run and so on? And usually you in big organization, you hire people to do on all this. But on a
Yeah.
small organization, you will never. You will do on a need basis and you run. So I think they have. Amira, maybe you can just give me Aminder's contact later. I can just text him some names and numbers. He can give a direct call
Most
later.
definitely. Can.
Yeah.
All right.
I
Thanks,
think I have
Amira.
one, but let me just check back again.
That's all right. Thank you for that. And sorry, group, for asking something very personally in a group.
No. That's our job, because if myself and Amira and Ruben and the entire organization is not helping you guys, there's no need of this masterclass or even the entire program. That's the whole reason for the program. The program, that's why I dislike the online model. The online model can be a short session, but a masterclass should be actually face to face, because there are much more than to discuss. If I were to put these facts and info onto a slide and you guys take a look at it, actually you can read it in 2 minutes but do you really understand where's the gist of the thing and how to do it and so on? It's a totally different story. That's why a masterclass is called a masterclass rather than a lecture.
Cool. Thanks.
Okay. So a bit of a exercise here, and hope that some of you guys can participate and answer and think. So if you are doing networking, for example, the power of networking, I always believe in this personally. What are the key strategies to build local businesses connections in Malaysia? So what do you think networking that you look at? The other one is that I wanted to ask and open for you guys. I would like the participation of everybody here. Is that how important is it face-to-face networking? I just said it myself. I'd rather meet you all on a masterclass or face-to-face. And Malaysian business contacts, especially post-pandemic. And what are the top networking platform event business owners should leverage? Not each of the platform or events differ to your business, to your liking, to the way or even your expertise and so on. So I open up a bit for you guys. Maybe give me some feedback. What you think, how you think. Do you have a strategy around this? Okay. Anybody can start first.
All right, I'll get the ball rolling then.
Amina, you earn an extra question, or you earn an extra connection you want.
I'll get an extra cookie out of this. Yeah. Hey, I think one of the things that I'm doing anyway and sharing it with the group, so hopefully others benefit from this as well, is like there's this Tower Exchange exhibition or conference coming up. Peter, you're probably aware of that, being in the telco sector, which is very much around
way too many events.
Yeah, right. Yeah, true. So that's one that I will probably go to if I can swing the ticket, which is ridiculously expensive. But at the moment, I'm thinking of at least being there, even if I'm outside the.
Is this in Malaysia?
It's in KL, yeah, at the Hyatt, I think it is.
I think the advantage for you to come in here is to meet two organizations, the big one for Malaysian companies. You should meet Suresh and team. Edge, I think Edge is trying to. Edge, I think is US based. Why they got Suresh on board is very simple. They needed Southeast Asia market. Suresh is the face for telco in Southeast Asia, for Indonesia and for Malaysia. He's strong, definitely strong. The other one is E.co. E.co with Axiata backing is Axiata runs 7 countries. So Axiata runs Malaysia, Indonesia, used to own Singapore also, I think. And that's the reason. These two are the so-called big ones in Malaysia. But of course, I think Philippines has some also.
Yeah.
These powerful guys.
Definitely. I mean, Suresh has put me onto Domingos. I don't know if you know Domingos, Brazilian guy.
No, I don't really deal with the tower co guys. So I know them all personally lah.
So that's I mean, to answer that question, yeah, those kind of forums are that are really really sort of specific to, for me anyway, for what I'm trying to achieve.
Yes.
To attend that forum. I can't afford to get into the hall, but I'm not hanging around outside, to be honest. And it sounds very petty, but I'm a
No, it's
startup.
okay. I mean, don't worry about that. I never paid to join those events, so-called events because they have all the speakers and all those. I don't. I rather you, spend money to go to motivational speaker forum and business forums.
Yeah.
Has got more advantage.
Okay, yeah, that's a good point. Yeah, use the money more intelligently. Yeah. At this point, anyway. Yeah.
For this type of your type of events that you are joining, then if you can afford and if you think it's the right time, you should join some of the event booth. You see, some of the big things that they have event booths. Okay, you might want to consider to take. Okay, because there are not only Malaysian who's going to visit. You have the Southeast Asia and the big boys to come and visit. That's one. Second tip that I can give it to you is, who are the guys who are probably in the value chain of the tower boys? Is definitely the guy, the producer of the radio base station. And who are the top ones in Southeast Asia? Definitely Huawei, ZTE, and Ericsson, the three big ones. So I think you should be talking these three guys as well. Whether they buy, they don't buy, immaterial.
That's okay.
Because you need the connection. Because of the connection, I will always remember, Aminda has a software that all the tower co guys need. Same thing. You go down to ZTE, Huawei, and Ericsson, they will always remember, hey, I remember down south, there's this guy who has this software for the tower guys.
Yeah. They might refer someone, right? Yeah.
They might buy you up.
True. Nothing to buy at the moment, though, unfortunately.
Soon to be. When your software is ready and things like that, you might not know. They'll buy you.
No, true.
Yeah, I'm a business coach, so my way of thinking is very different. I'm not only selling for today, I'm selling for tomorrow. So for tomorrow, hey guys, come and buy me.
That's good. Thanks for that. That's all very, very useful information, and all the names that you just mentioned as well.
Great. Anybody else? Yeah. The rest? Strategy about building strong local businesses. Think about it. What's your strategy of your company that you want to build good connections?
Hi, Peter.
Hi, who's that?
Maybe you can. Yeah, Lex Promotions Cloud.
Hey, Lex.
Based
Hi.
in Germany. Yeah.
You're based in where, sorry, Lex?
Sorry?
You are based in where?
In Germany. Yeah.
Oh, Germany. Oh, okay. Wow.
Yeah. So I think building connection, especially in the insurance industry, and also in the very heavy automotive industry, I think building a personal relationship is very important in closing sales or speeding up things in the sales cycle side. So if we really have a face-to-face, trying to understand each other, trying to crack up some jokes and so on in the face-to-face conferences or events and networking event, I think it will speed things up rather than just, as you mentioned, only talking about business.
Yeah, maybe it's the same thing like me and you. I can switch on the camera. However, you don't get a feel after 2 hours. Okay, so what this guy do? What can he do? What can he do for me? How can he help me in my business and things like that? So that relationship goes beyond actually. You need a multi-pronged strategy when you want to get to someone or get to something and so on and so forth. I hear you talking about insurance and motor. You are in the insurance industry?
Yes, I'm in the insurance industry. Yeah.
And you focus on motor?
Yeah, vehicle insurance. Yes, correct.
Okay. And your startup is to build a platform to do this?
Our startup actually using AI to streamline, automate the inspection process during the claim process or during the buying a new policy process.
Wow, fantastic. I have not. Okay, I'll be frank with you. Southeast Asia type of insurance are very traditional. Okay,
Yes.
and they haven't even reached to InsurTech. I've done InsurTech, by the way, in Malaysia.
Oh,
And I done it for about 2 years and so on. Did a project with Boost. Not sure you know who's Boost, as the part of the companies. And the market access that opened up for Boost is back to Celcom, where my ex company is. Is
mm,
one of the easiest thing to do is when I open market access, I get 9 million subscriber that I can touch base with. So you can
okay.
imagine how fantastic that is for a startup lah. Okay. Company A and company B here is brother and sister lah. That's the reason why it's a bit easy entry for me. But it
Mm,
doesn't mean that for a third party to go in, it doesn't mean that you can't lah. It takes time lah,
mm,
and so on, trust and things like that.
mm,
So I've done that those kind of thing. It'll be interesting to speak to you later on. Is how you use the AI and so on for inspection claim and etc.
sure.
Not sure you know, and everybody knows, Malaysia has one of the highest vehicle penetration in the world. If not
Yes.
mistaken, the last read up is 83%.
Mm,
83% of the population has a vehicle.
wow.
Malaysia is one of the highest in the world.
Mm-hmm. Car nation. Yes.
Car, motor lah, both lah. Motor also a lot lah.
Motor is.
Yeah, yeah, great. I mean, those
Probably
are
explains all the traffic jam. Probably
yeah
explains
lah.
all the traffic jam that we have.
Yeah lah, yeah lah, yeah lah, yeah. I'm one of the contributors. Time to time, I take the train. Because of time you really save time lah. On if you take the train and so on. So I park somewhere and then take the train. Mm.
Yeah. So that's my input. Thank you. Yeah,
Mm.
Peter, let's connect later. Yeah, thank you.
Yeah. I'll get from Amira and so on. Anybody else here? Anybody else? Some thoughts, comment about connection? No?
Hello.
Mm. Yes. Hi.
Yeah. Hi, sorry. Adria here.
Yeah, Adrian. Hi.
I think I'll just chip in. Yeah, I'll
Yeah.
just
Come.
chip in
Yes.
little bit on this is I think my personal experience is because when I first joined the startup world or wanted to build a startup, I was still a fresh grad, which was
Mm.
quite a few years ago already. So
Mm.
I think my co-founders and I use very, very typical traditional methods of just cold messaging people on LinkedIn.
Ah.
Like not just a few, like a lot,
Ah.
like
A
100,
lot.
200, all kind of people that we, yeah,
I can.
not just a few, yeah, like a lot of which, yeah.
Let me check my LinkedIn
Yeah.
inbox.
No. Yeah. So we just we just cold message a lot of people, of which I think obviously 80-90% don't respond. But of the 10 or 5% that respond, they normally take us to interesting places now. Yeah. So I think that's how we go. It's just a very there's no like special method. just tag people profile and then just like pray that they answer you. And but normally I think, in my personal opinion, I think having you don't need a whole bunch of people to help you. Normally it's just one or two people that lead you to other people who will help you. Is what I feel so far lah. Yeah, so yeah, just
It's
sharing experience. Yeah.
yeah, it's fantastic sharing. In sales, I've been in sales since the day my first job. I have been a sales guy, very focused about sales, distribution. We have one saying, you need to really target your customer in sales. Is you need to know segment, type, and so on. How you target. The old way of targeting is just like what you address. You just mentioned, Adria.
Mm.
By the way, I have done you have done cold calling based on LinkedIn. I have done cold calling from door to door, every single door.
Yeah.
Okay, so there were no LinkedIn during my era. Can you imagine? Okay, the only
Okay.
thing that I have, is probably a phone directory. Okay, and
Right.
you can, how many people can you call on the phone directory? One of the best thing in my era was a door to door. So for example, commercial area, you could have thousands of offices, a few hundred in a block and so on, and the next block you go to the next block, and so you just practically knock door to door. Okay, that's the first phase, of course, of your life. You've been there, do it, and so on. But the new social media way of doing today, if you look at it, is you got to promote your brand, you got to promote yourself, you got to promote your product. So if I can get one advice to everybody here is start doing something I call storytelling. You got to tell your story. After you tell your story and it's interesting and it relates to someone who's on LinkedIn, who's looking at it, who like it, who thinks that you are the right partner, or you are the right solution, or you have the right product, you'll be surprised. They'll be actually contacting you the other way around. So it's a two-directional. Can you go in? One side, you try to find. The other side, actually, please let them know who you are and let them find you.
Yeah, I think that's quite true. I think I've learned that a little bit more recently, that storytelling also at different places. Like if you, like, for example, go give a sharing session with like maybe a group of people that is within your target market or sorts, right? It sometimes it becomes the other way around. People come and look for you rather than you chasing 200, 300 people online.
Yes.
So yeah, so I think that's yeah, I totally agree. Yeah.
There's also one strategy that we business coaches, we always sit down with people, talk about things and how, okay, we always ask, how have you been doing this? They will tell me X way. We'll always give them another view. And that view sometimes breaks through certain thing. Okay, we always say how the way that I did was like I was mentioning just now, cold call, door to door. That is one to one. Unless that product is a huge margin product and it's going to make me huge commission if I sell one, and then I can do a one to one. Like life insurance is one of them. They will do one to one because the premium that they get and the commission that they get is high for every transaction. And you can afford that. But if the product is on a single digit margin, can you imagine how many I need to sell? So I need a strategy for one to many, that I need to address many people. Like Aminder's case, he is one to one because his profit margin will be very high. But if I were to sell a smaller product that has only a single digit, as I say, single digit, then it's very, very difficult to do a one to one. You need to do a one to many. Good. Thank you for your comment. I did that. You just reminded me.
Good old days.
Okay. Anybody else got any
Yeah, thank
sharing?
you so much for your thoughts too.
Yeah. No worries. Anybody else? Okay, none. Then I'll move to the next thing. Okay, leveraging on government industry. What are the key government program agencies that local support? Think a bit on if you need help on government agencies and so on. Apart from the Talent Corp program, I think you guys know if you are top 5, and I think there's probably some support and grants. I got no details on those things. How SME in Malaysia take advantage of local chamber commerce, huge industry, huge thing, association. One thing I learned about joining all those, like tonight's dinner and so on, each time I meet someone new. Every time I meet someone new, I get one more advantage. I get one more opportunity. Okay, and some of these guys who are in the market and industry, they are big guns. So they are the top notch of the people of the industry. So those are the time that we exchange cards, we talk a bit about idea, we bring that idea to the next step, and so on. Okay. Are there specific grants, incentive? Huge. You can ask Amira. Tons of money pouring into startups, into AI, into so many other things. There are multiple grants. There are grants also that MDEC looks at for specific type of investment. I have a partner at this moment pitching for a 50 million ringgit investment from a few of the government agencies. So that's as big as that. Okay, of course they will do a very strict evaluation and so on and so forth before they get there. Okay, so any sharing here or any question or any help that you guys need here? Government programs, SME chamber associations and things like that.
Yeah, I have a question. Is this really for, I mean, government really put a lot of effort or really budget and effort try to help local company to to expand local market and also the international market. But what about like for foreign company like us? I think usually they have the support, but usually they have the FDI that they expect like a foreign company to invest in Malaysia, which as a startup we do not have it, right? So it's a bit different, yeah.
Interesting question. First of all, I think the foreign participation and so on and so forth, depending on what level. Okay, so let me probably start from the word called grant, incentive. These two words first, okay, and third one is investment, okay. What grant means is you qualify for certain thing. You probably have to go through a process like currently what you're doing with Talent Corp and MyHeart program. Once you get there, when the grant is issued to you, example, only example, the last event that I went to was in cohort 4 of my startup program. I think the grant was about 35,000 ringgit. Now they're given to companies who have great ideas and so on and so forth, who's going to probably have an MVP, already has an MVP of their startup. Okay. Now, when I say grant means it's given out you are not required to return. Okay. Now the perception dulu punya perception okay, previous perception that all of us have, or myself, okay, at least, is that grants are given only to Bumi Putra companies. That is not true. They are given to companies, okay, and grants on specific type of grants, there's no requirement of whether it's Bumi Putra, non-Bumi Putra, and so on. Okay, now then I move to the next thing. It's called incentive. Incentives are given if you do X thing or Y thing. For example, I think in the manufacturing especially. So in the manufacturing, certain type of production that you produce, okay, government provide you incentive. Okay. Another incentive that I can think of is in the digital market is MDEC, which is your Malaysia digital status. Now, Malaysia digital status can be given to a local private limited Sdn Bhd company. You need, whatever it is, you need to register a local company. But your entity or your equity is not compulsory to have Bumi Putra, not compulsory to have Malaysian majority. Why I know that is because my partner, I was a shareholder in one of this company from India. I no longer a shareholder now. They applied for Malaysia Digital. They got it. So if you have that Malaysia Digital status, if I remember correctly, 7 years tax-free. So imagine if your business is huge, millions of ringgit, say, you can imagine how much of tax of saving. Malaysia tax, I think corporate tax is between 18 to 24%, if I remember correctly. Okay, there's a saving of between 18 to 24%, depending on how large is your revenue. Okay, so that's how grant incentive. Okay, and the third one is called investment. So I explained earlier, someone is that I know, I'm helping him. Okay, is that he's asking for a 50 million ringgit investment. Now with a 50 million ringgit investment, what would you think that these organizations will do? Of course, they'll ask for equity of the company. So with that funding, I think they're asking about 20-25% equity of the companies. Okay, so Lex, any question here that I can help you to clarify?
Yeah, I mean more like a FDI thing. They expect the foreign company to invest in the locally, you know, like you have to sign, oh, you have to hire somebody, you have to invest how many money so that we can help you to expand to Malaysia. Because I actually been through some other organizations, but they are mainly for the big company, not like not for like startup. Yeah,
You
some
probably
agency.
yeah, that sounds very familiar to me. You probably went to Invest KL or invest something.
Yeah, something
You
like
probably
that.
went.
Yes.
Yeah, I know. I know Mr. Ma. Maybe you have met Mr. Ma lah. Oh no, you're from Germany. He doesn't handle Germany. He handle North Asia. So I'm not sure who handle Germany. So Invest KL is for the larger boy. So they will ask you to invest, and they will help you in X number of things. They actually have other things that they help you apart from asking you to invest. The one that you want to do, or you as a startup, you will do it differently. First of all, Lex, is that if you want to come into Malaysia, I can't speak for Singapore. Singapore maybe I can speak, but for entering this country, actually it's very easy. You just need to only open a Sendirian private limited company. That probably costs you about 3,000 ringgit to just open an entity, to get it registered and wholly owned by you 100%. And you can start business.
Mm-hmm.
So there's no FDI. I'm not asking you to bring millions of dollars and so on. You don't have to. Okay. You can start operating as an entity. Of course, you will need a company secretary. You will need a auditor end of the day to do your bookkeeping and everything and so on and so forth lah. So then the next question is that, do you want to set up a local company? You are setting up a local company with a partnership, or you're looking for distributors and things like that. So it moves from there.
Okay.
Yeah. So there's no huge investment. 4,000 ringgit settle. You can open a MyHeart company.
Okay.
And you can start doing business. Of course, you need a bit more money lah. Open your bank account and everything.
Yeah. Okay, understand.
To just start business, you don't have to say bring millions of dollars. No.
Yeah, I was trying to get some agency that can help foreign startup enter Malaysian market. But yeah, I think
Depending
what
what are you looking for, how wide of a service are you looking for, and things like that. There are companies one. I give you example of the one that I did for last week, the MVNO for China and things like that. There's a China lady in Malaysia, been here for the last 12 years. She's helping all these companies to do their setup. Open up a Sendirian company, tell them if they want to come in here and do business and they need a place to stay, should they buy a property, should they rent and things like that. These services are being rendered. Yeah. Yes.
Okay. Yeah.
You can get in touch later lah. You can get my contacts
Okay.
from Amira and so
Okay.
on. I can give you some guide. Yeah, simple lah. Simple. It's not difficult. Like, it is not difficult.
Okay. Thank you.
Okay. Anybody? Any comment about our government, our programs? No, then I move to the next thing. Okay, strategic partnership. So I talked a bit about all this already in the earlier. These are some of facts and things like that. Now, I know one thing. So I run business myself as well. So then the next question is, if you run a business, so do you sell yourself? Do you set up your own company? Even if you set up your own company, do you like what? Come here? Do you hire someone on your behalf and things like that? So there are multiple ways of what I call go-to-market. So your go-to-market could be local distributor, reseller. So if you have a product or service, like Lex, you have an insurance, not sure how complex is that product and things like that. So how do you sell to them? Okay, so do you go through a distributor, go through a reseller, or you work with a partnership? You could have set up what we call JV, which is the next one, joint venture, collaboration. Okay, and you move from there and so on. Okay, technology and innovation partner. Most of you probably would have technology and technology partner already and so on. The question is, how do you now use that and use it here locally and so on. Now the question also, some of the thing, how do you localize? Okay. Now I have seen how the Western world works, how the local Southeast Asia works, Asia works, and things like that. When it comes to technology, back end technology could be the same, but I can tell you most of the time the front end is totally different. Okay. What I mean by that is the front end, especially the app that talks to the consumer and the processes could be way different. Okay, so that's something to be aware of from the technology and innovation part of things. Then again, a bit of an incentive there. We talked a bit about just now. I think I've given quite a bit of flavor, the type of incentive and so on. Innovation hub. Yeah, innovation hub. Like I mean I think we have now we have a dual wholesale 5G network. Last Friday, surprisingly, the government announced that U Mobile is getting the second 5G. So there are incubation hubs, definitely. DNB has one called My 5G Portal. So take a look at that. So it could be something that you want to bring in. I know the DNB guys, maybe you want to bring in your software eventually when it's ready for showcase in those technology hubs and so on.
Definitely, it's kind of, it is ready and functioning. It's just that we haven't had we don't have the footprint in Southeast Asia or broader Asia for that matter. But this is all part of the Jendela program, isn't it, Peter?
There's so many programs. There's so many programs. Jendela is one of them. Jendela basically is, to sum up, is for the rural where they cannot afford, number one. Two is the operator see no ROI for it. So why would I put up a base station in middle of a desert, example, right? You only got two user or three user, example, 2 user, 3 user. Then what happened is there is a funding within the telco business where apart from paying tax, you pay something called Universal Provision Fund or something like that. I can't remember, USP or USF or whatever. So that pool of money, people pull it out, companies pull it out, take advantage of it, pull it out, and go and build base station in those non-ROI standard places. So it's a brilliant idea what they did, and those things are all there. And again, these are also incentive. So to understand the context of the thing, to take advantage of it, you need to know where to find pockets of this opportunity.
Yeah, good. Thanks.
So the other one is CSR. CSR is a big name, but now I think a lot of people changing CSR to a bit more different, called ESG. Okay, and I think ESG is very, very important. The big corporates, the big giants understand all the ESG requirement, country to country trades and things like that. The only problem is all the SME doesn't understand. So imagine that if this entire ESG game has been rolled out in Europe and in China especially, can you imagine how many of the SMEs of Malaysia got no clue that they need to conform to some certain ESG requirement? If not, they won't be able to ship their products to Europe, America, or even China. Okay, that's something that why this ESG, I'm supportive of this ESG association. The reason is because the SME doesn't understand the implication of why this thing is important, and it is coming very soon in the next couple of years. And potentially, if you are not careful, whatever orders that they have now could be wiped off because they don't conform to those standards. They can never ship to even China. One of the biggest trading partner for us is China, of course. Okay. Adapting to business model and local market need, research and consumer insight. Oh, this is my favorite area, market research, consumer, because this is part of GTM and GTD. I always say, if you don't understand your consumer or you don't understand your customer, you will never have customer. You really need to know what is the statement problem. A lot of startup that I mentor, my first few mentoring session with them is just to drill on what is the statement problem they're trying to solve. You got to really get it right. If you don't get it right, the problem is there are hundreds and hundreds of competitors doing the same thing. If they are doing the same thing, then do you really think that your startup will be a success? Okay, then that's a very, very big question. Okay. Localization of products and services and so on. Yes, very important also, because as I say, front end system in Europe and front end system in Southeast Asia, okay, could be very different. It can't. I don't say that it can't be used. It's just that it doesn't have enough function and functionality into these areas. And the last one is agile. Being agile is very important as a startup. So if you launch features, you really need to launch it fast before your competitor. When you launch your feature, make sure you launch your feature with what the consumer wants, which is the first one, with the research and insights of the consumers. Okay. Any question here? If not, I'll move on to the next one. Okay. So again, I've opened up some question is how does local culture diversity impact networking and relationship? I think we drew a bit on it already, and I think we got some very good comment earlier. We also got some good question as well. What are the common business ethic practice approaching potential partner, business partner in Malaysia? How do regional differences within Malaysia Peninsula affect business networking? One of the biggest thing that I felt that the differences are affecting the business networking and so on. I think it's language. I don't speak most or all their languages. Sometimes it became a disadvantage to me. Okay, that's my comment. When I look at this thing. Very simply is I give you one example. I frequent Kota Baru, Kelantan. No way for me to be there to meet my dealers, partners, the Malay partners, and start speaking English. I need to speak Malay, and so on. Then they feel more comfortable, and so on. So that's my take about the differences and things like that. Okay. Anyone got any comment or any question about some of this local business culture? I think Australia has you really need to speak the Australian slang.
I've worked across Australia, and I can confidently say that the way you work in Northern Territory as opposed to the eastern states like New South Wales, Victoria, and Queensland is very different.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
Funny,
so
right?
element of that as
You
well.
can imagine that even in Australia, you can have that. America, I'm sure, even the slang
Yeah,
from the east to the west and things like that is very different. Can you imagine that you are in the same country type, you
Mm.
already different? Can you imagine Malaysia? The different people.
Exactly. I
So I have
was,
to
I,
customize myself when I'm in East Coast. I have to customize myself when I'm in Central. I have to customize myself when I'm in the East Malaysia.
yeah, no,
Behavior thinking.
sorry, go ahead.
No. Go ahead. Go ahead.
No, I worked for the Big Four as well, like Deloitte's and the KPMGs and all that in my time. And initially, when we went to Northern Territory, some of the more inexperienced consultants would wear a suit. Nobody would talk to them, actually, to be honest. What's wrong with you? It's 35 degrees here. Where the hell are you wearing a suit for? It's
That's
just,
what the Big Four train staff to do.
it's exactly, and they don't know how to think out of the box, right? As much as they're supposed to be very clever. Sorry to say that.
True,
Anyway,
true, 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 true.
just a
So
story.
you're absolutely right. Not only the language, the culture. I forgot about the attire. So I give you example of certain industry here that the please wear the same attire as they are. If you are in the example, like if you are in the motor industry in Malaysia, please don't wear a suit. You're wasting your time. Nobody gonna speak to you. That kind of thing. So they're used to t-shirts, jeans, and sneakers and so forth. Unless you are going for a formal event, then it's a different story. Everybody will suit up. But if not, on a day-to-day, guys, Malaysia at this weather, 31 to 35 degree, who's gonna wear a suit out on the street? Nobody's gonna do that.
Like I have a personal example as well, right? Obviously, I'm a singer, I wear a turban, and in Australia, some
Mm.
states it's normal, some not. And then what you do is you go to places like Northern Territory, and it is really even more difficult, right? And then you go, and but the moment you open your mouth and you break the ice, and you say, look, why don't we go for a cold beer in the evening, and everybody's one happy family. You forget the turban, you know, the whole game changes.
Yeah.
Anyway,
By Friday 3:30, you'll be at the bar already.
exactly. So it's nice, right?
So the culture, you're absolutely right. In each of the countries is different. Like East Malaysia have a alcohol drink very popular. It's called tuak. Not sure you have heard of it. It's rice wine. They make it. Now into second, third generation, they rebottle it nicely and everything. Where I used to drink tuak with them and so on, it's non-label. It's just a bottle. There's no label. You don't know what the heck you're drinking. Okay. Second generation kids took over. Now all labeling with branding and so on. So that kind of culture. Or I can also still relate one a friend many years ago when we were still young and sales guys in East Malaysia. You know that there's not much activity, shop lots, companies, shops, and things like that. But they still need to buy fast-moving consumer products like cigarettes, rice, sugar, and things like that. You'd be surprised how I've been to one with them on a trip. Is if you go through a corner of an area that you drive for hours and things like that, you actually just stop at a certain tree or signboard or whatever, and you just drop off your goods on the floor, on the ground, and you'll be surprised that the money is actually waiting there for you. So the thing is, the communication is, the distribution model is, someone will pay you cash. There's just no physical store, but later on someone will come and pick it up, and you just leave your box of cigarettes there. Interesting. So that kind of culture that you won't see in Peninsular Malaysia. You won't have it. But in East Malaysia, it's different. Totally different. Okay. Okay, let me see what I have. Digital connection. This is one of my favorite thing for the last few years. So as I say from the start, social media influencing business networking, is it important? Superbly important. So I use a lot of LinkedIn. Seldom I use Facebook. My Instagram is for my own photo taking and so on. So for business networking and so on, I use it a lot in LinkedIn, and this is how what I call funneling my sales, funneling my connection, funneling my next thing, the next project that I work on, and so on. So to a bit on what Adria says earlier was, I sell one to many. So the world at the platform, if you are connected to me or with the algorithm of LinkedIn, I actually trying to sell more effectively in that way. Okay, which is what the second one is. How do you use LinkedIn to effectively foster local connection? Actually, not only local, you start to foster international connections. Okay, and that's how one of the way that you can get connected. And this is the part that I want to tell you a bit of a storytelling here. One, I still remember many years ago that LinkedIn, I connected to a CEO of an organization here in Malaysia. Didn't want to go through the protocol of meeting the ground people. I just went straight up to the CEO and how to get a collaboration going. Actually, the company is Touch and Go. So Touch and Go predominantly was selling the Touch and Go cards and things like that. I was trying to bundle how do you get a Touch and Go card and also a SIM card or mobile SIM card together. Eventually, because of that connection at LinkedIn and the business idea and so on, we launched a connectivity card or a travel card and so on. So you have a card for the Touch and Go, for the usage of your train, your bus, and so on with a SIM card. So those are kind of ideas of bundling, and then how do you get connected to people and so on. So how do you balance online networking and traditional? You really need to couple both together. You have your online, and you really need to meet face to face to get that connection going and so on. So that's my piece of thoughts around the digital format of things. Anyone here actively on LinkedIn?
Yep, I'm.
Okay. Haven't connected
Yeah.
to you yet, Aminda. I need to find you after this.
That's cool. You'll find me.
I'm very active. Yeah, I'm very active in LinkedIn.
Lex,
Do
you're
sales.
okay. Okay. We need to get connected. Then you will
I
see
think we
how.
connected already.
Yeah, okay. Then we have not been chatting a lot. Okay, we need to chat more.
Yes.
The rest, you guys are very quiet. You guys are not in LinkedIn.
Yeah, no, I think I'm connected on LinkedIn.
I am, but getting more active these days.
Yeah, if you yeah, there's a lot of people who teaches you on YouTube, and take a look at those things. Continue to remember to do three things. Don't hard sell. That's number one, of course. Promote yourself, your product, and your company brand. The three major things that you should be looking at. Trust me, the traction will come after a while. Superb platform, and it's really business link in this area. Okay. I'm not sure. This is my last one. I can't remember the page. Business mentorship collaboration. Mentorship, you guys are already in the mentorship. on this. Collaboration and things like that depends on your business, how you take this forward. There's a lot of business partners out there who's ready to collaborate, start the business, JV, whatever. Business coach like me, who have strong business local connections and so on and so forth. Okay, there are a lot. Okay, and you probably need to look for them and see how to bring that business to the next level. Okay, how can new entrepreneur find established business leader to mentor them in the ecosystem? Okay, this one, you either has to be in somewhere in the ecosystem of that particular area, MDAC association and things like that, and you can find them. One way to identify them is, again, LinkedIn has been a very powerful tool to identify this business leader, okay, and get them to help you and so on. Make sense? Okay. So any of, I think this should be my last slide. Implementation plan. So I hear some of the comments about market entry. Let me start with phase one of the market entry. You can potentially establish a local office and hire local talent. Okay. Or you establish a local entity and do a partnership, or you do a local entity with a JV and so on. Okay. Engage business association, government agencies. I think that probably most of you have already started if you're coming into the market. Conduct initial market research. In any startup, when you want to start your MVP, take Malaysia if you're coming in as an MVP, okay, that you want to start and so on. Do your research correctly and make sure you validate. Two things. Once you do the research, you need to make sure you validate. When I say validate, it's as simple as you ask 100 people, do they want or do they willing to pay X dollar for your product? Okay, that's very important. Then it's actually the competitor analysis. Okay. Then only 4-6 months or even 12 months later, you move into a second phase of the partnership. Identify potential partnership key in the key industries. Okay. Now again, in this partnership thing, not necessarily you need to be a JV. Okay. You can be a collaboration agreement. What collaboration agreement is? Just making sure that there's a distributor for your product. Okay. Someone willing to sell on your behalf. Okay. With a good margin and so on and so forth. Okay. Then the thing to consider is, do you launch localized marketing and branding initiative? Because those kind of things is, if you go into a distribution model, your distributor will always require you to invest in your marketing and branding in these areas. Okay. Then later on, look at your growth expansion, scaling of your business, expand portfolio of products, create new products and so on. Now, I've been in business for long enough. I always say the starting point in any business is tough. Actually, the entire business is actually a marathon. It's never been a short run. In any business, it's a marathon. Why I say a marathon is, when you launch a product, you will know that someone could copy it, or you are copying someone else. Same thing. Once you copy someone will be able to copy you as well into your product space later on. In order for the continuation of that business, you always and you must launch new product. I've seen companies that I've coached, companies that I've been working with. One of the biggest failure, okay, is they have only 1 or 2 product line. What happens if someone takes over? You completely lost your business. So getting ahead of your competition is also getting ahead of yourself on your product and services. Okay? Anybody, any question? No?
Well, one thing, usually the distribution partner, usually they were in charge on the marketing side, isn't it?
Okay, when you say marketing and when I say marketing could be two different things. When I say marketing, the question is who owns the brand? What's your brand, Lex? What's your brand in Germany?
We also market as a Motions Cloud.
You are what? Sorry.
Motions Cloud, the company name as a brand.
Motion Cloud.
Yeah, Motions Cloud.
Okay, Motions Cloud. So Motions Cloud is the one who supply the platform to do your inspection claim and everything. You will have your insurance underwriter and all those to support you, right? I presume.
Yeah, so insurance company will be our clients.
Yes. Yeah. So then because you are not marketing it to consumer, you're marketing it to a B2B.
Correct.
So your marketing dollar is not so much. They are more looking at you from a platform initiative and features and function. But if you launch it as, I give you an example, next is Motions Cloud could launch a motor insurance package to consumer. Then you will need to market that brand, right? So when I say market that brand for the distributor, is that brand, that is what I meant, marketing of that brand. In your case, you are not marketing Zurich, you are not marketing Allianz or whoever at this moment.
Right.
Because Allianz will be marketing it as a product of their own.
Yeah. Correct.
Motion Cloud is the supporting platform only to do the claim, example. Yeah.
Correct.
You're a bit more B2B.
Right, B2B.
Until Motion Cloud says the B2B business with Allianz and our friend in Zurich is doing superbly fine now. Motion Cloud goes to Allianz and Zurich to say, I will launch a motor insurance plan now called Motion Insurance, example, Motion Insurance.
Yeah.
Then you got to market your Motion Insurance.
Yes, that's a different story.
Which is potentially could be your next line of business.
Yeah.
Okay?
Yeah, okay. Thank you.
We got 5 more minutes. Anybody got question, comment, want to pick off my thinking a bit here and there and so on?
Yeah, I have a question.
Sure.
Sorry.
Who's that?
This is Jason here.
Jason. Jason, we're supposed to get connected.
Yeah.
No chance to reply you yet. Sorry.
Okay. Yeah. In the meantime, I have a question. You said about developing like a second product line, etc. Not relying on one. So at which stage do you decide to do that? Because I mean, initially in the beginning, you're just trying to sell one thing, right? So when do you decide that, okay, now I need, at which stage I'm saying, do you need to actually start thinking about that?
To be frank, Jason, if I can, because my background is sales, marketing, product development, I will always think very far ahead. I give you an example. I will think 5 to 8 years from now is that how do I envision my company is. Okay. By doing that, I work backward to look at, I have product line A, first product is running today, and you will monitor your product A. Then suddenly I see that there's an opportunity that a friend, example, a friend or a company that I can connect to sell product B, example. In that instant, I could have already triggered me to launch product B. You understand? So the circumstances, there is no a straightforward answer, is the environment that you are in business, and how a businessman thinks is, if I have an opportunity now to develop product B, I could have go for it. It become my second line. Example. I am one of those people who thinks that way. So there's no right or no wrong, and there's no principle of things that you hit 1 million, then only you go produce product B. No, it doesn't happen that way. But sometimes it's because of your industry knowledge or your experience, then suddenly you came up with product B, you might want to pursue. But again, when you pursue it with caution. This is like the phase 1 of the market entry. Go in and take a look at the MVP, do the validation, whether it works, whether it's people will buy and things like that. Suddenly, you might not know, you might find a golden opportunity.
Right. Okay.
So there's no straightforward answer that, hey, I run it, product A, oh, I make 1 million, now I go for product B. I don't think it goes in that way. I give you an example. Elon Musk. He built car until he built rocket. You look at the two analogy of the thing. But I am very sure that with the third product, which is Optimus, okay, he has a very different vision. If you think about it, I've been putting a lot of thoughts how he think. His vision is a 10 to 15 years vision, or even longer. That's the reason why he have a car, he have a satellite, he has a rocket, he has a robot. He's the visionary of maybe 20 years. His vision is to Mars, which no one human has reached yet. Not to confuse you, sometimes it's the vision. But not everybody is like him.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Then we look at the opportunity slightly different.
Yeah.
Don't know whether I answer your question.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. That's fine. Yeah. Thanks, Peter.
Amira, are we doing okay on the timing?
All right, I think, yeah, it's already 40.
Kau tadi Ayo. Sekarang kena pergi mandi. I need to go
I know
for
you
event.
have plans, right? All right, okay. Thank you so much to all the startups. Thank you so much to Peter.